Despite Britain's devastating losses at Gallipoli and Kut, the Arab revolt in Hejaz, and the tenacious defense of the Romani breathed fresh life into the flagging war effort against the Ottomans. Emboldened, British strategic planners set 3 new offensives in motion: a drive on Baghdad to shatter Ottoman power in Mesopotamia, a push from Sinai to link with the Arab revolt and sever the Syria-Hejaz lifeline, and most ambitiously of all, a campaign to seize the Holy Land itself. This video is sponsored by you. Unfortunately, the YouTube environment is not great right now, with the algorithm being friendlier to drama and react channels and YouTube being permissive of AI slop. We don't do drama and we don't do AI, but thanks to our members and patrons, our channel continues to make 3 public videos per week, with the team intact and going strong. In recognition of their generosity and contributions, members and patrons receive 2 additional exclusive videos each week, and access many other perks. Join them to watch more than 250 exclusive videos covering every era of history. Join them by scanning the QR code on your screen, via the links in the description or pinned comment, or by pressing the join button under the video. Rather than risk direct confrontation with the besieged Ottomans at Medina, the Hashemites pursued a coordinated war of movement. The British, refraining from direct troop deployments, supplied crucial material assistance, while the French contributed Muslim regular troops and European officers as technical advisors to undermine the Hejaz railway. By late 1916, Britain had provided nearly £1 million in gold and a flight of aircraft. France augmented efforts with additional troops and advisors. Prince Faisal planned to advance north along the Red Sea coast to seize the port of Wedge, using Royal Navy support to sustain guerrilla operations against the Hejaz railway and Medina's fragile supply line. This northward move also offered the chance to expand his forces. In early January 1917, Faisal moved north from Yambu, as 6 Royal Navy ships carried supplies and a British-led Arab landing force toward Wedge. When the attack began on the 23rd to 24th of January, Faisal's main body had not yet arrived. Instead, a British-led Arab force under Major Charles Vickery and Captain Norman Bray went ashore with naval support. The British forced battle, bombarding Wedge with 50 naval guns, as infantry stormed the city, initiating street fighting. Ottoman defenders retreated to a distant fort, which the naval bombardment soon silenced, allowing the invaders to overpower the city's defences. Faisal's forces arrived 2 days later, blaming delays on water shortages. After establishing headquarters at Wedge, the Hashemites began to disrupt the Hejaz railway. The first guerrilla force, led by al-Misri, operated with British officers Lieutenant Colonel Newcomb, Lieutenant Hornby, and Major Herbert Garland. Garland's improvised Garland Mine was tested on the 12th of February at Tawaira, and on the 20th of February, the first raiding party detonated a train charge. That month, Captain Mohammed Ould Ali Raho, with a French military mission, destroyed railway segments near Medina. Throughout March, British sappers and Arab guides laid mines at strategic railway points. By month's end, T.E. Lawrence led operations against an isolated station, employing a mountain gun, machine guns and explosives to disrupt rail traffic for 3 days. Meanwhile, Faisal organized a regular Arab army, with help from Ottoman defectors Nuri Asid, Aziz Ali al-Misri and Jafar al-Askari. A shipment of British arms arrived at Wedge: 30,000 rifles, 15 million rounds, and Rolls-Royce armoured cars, accompanied by coin and grain to fund and feed the expanding force, which would soon number about 70,000, according to some sources. With these forces, Faisal began planning a southern Syria expedition. By late 1916, British planners directed General Sir Archibald Murray to push the Egyptian expeditionary force across northern Sinai towards the Palestine frontier, while also seeking coordination with the Arab revolt against Ottoman communications. On January 8th, Murray ordered a desert column under Lieutenant General Philip Chetwode to march from El Arish and seize Rafah, defended by about 2,000 Ottoman troops of the 31st Regiment. The desert column moved toward Rafah on the 9th, establishing a headquarters west of Qam ibn Musleh at 6:45. With no reserves of ammunition for rifles, machine guns or artillery, they depended on promised supplies that did not arrive. At 800, the New Zealand Mounted Rifles Brigade swung north to attack the redoubts C4 and C5, while the 1st Light Horse Brigade prepared to strike C1, C2 and C3. The Camel Brigade would assault the D fortifications once those redoubts fell. Artillery began a 30-minute bombardment at 9:30 as the troops pressed the Ottoman lines. the 1st Light Horse Brigade and Imperial Camel Brigades faced intense fire from the A, B and C redoubts. By 1000, to the north, the Auckland Mounted Rifles circled Rafa, stormed the village and captured prisoners. With the garrison at Elmagruntine cut off, the Desert Column reserves were committed at 1100. By 1215, a cordon surrounded the Ottoman entrenchments as batteries moved up within 1,600 yards to support the attack. The cordon tightened, but crossfire from the redoubts slowed progress. By mid-afternoon, ammunition ran low and units wavered. At 1530, a general assault was launched with all available guns, yet Ottoman reinforcements from Khan Yunis and Shellal attacked the Wellington Mounted Rifles. At 1630, the New Zealand Mounted Rifles Brigade led a final assault on a central redoubt, supported by cover fire from the 1st Light Horse Brigade. A bayonet charge secured the redoubt, allowing enfilade fire on adjacent positions. This enabled the 1st and 3rd Light Horse Brigades to capture the remaining redoubts on their fronts, followed by the Imperial Camel Brigade against the B redoubts by 1650. The Entente force suffered 71 deaths and 415 wounded. The Ottomans lost 200 and had 1,434 captured, with 168 wounded. With Rafa in Entente hands, aside from air attacks and raids, the British had essentially captured Sinai, pushing the Ottomans from Egypt and exposing Palestine to the Arab Revolt. By mid-February, water and the railway reached the forward base at El Arish, enabling an advance towards Jerusalem via Rafah along the coast or Hafir el-Alja along the railway. On February 26th, the EEF was ordered to seize Gaza as the first step towards Jerusalem. Dobell's task of invading Gaza fell to the Eastern Force, commanded by British-Canadian Lieutenant General Charles McPherson Dobell, comprising about 12,000 infantry, 11,000 mounted troops, and over 100 guns. Gaza was defended by roughly 19,000 Ottoman troops of the Fourth Army, under Colonel Kress von Kressenstein. After Sinai's expulsion, by mid-March, the Ottomans had established a defensive line inland from Gaza to Beersheba, with trenches and redoubts circling Gaza save for the northeast gap. Von Kressenstein deployed most forces away from Gaza to hamper EEF supply lines, with the bulk at Tel el-Nagila and Huj and detachments at Tel esh-Sharia, Jemameh, Harera, Beersheba and Gaza to prevent a Gaza flank. His plan was to encircle the invaders, where the Khan Yunis Gaza Road crossed the Wadi Ghuzi. On February 28th, the Desert Column attacked Khan Yunis unopposed and set up headquarters at Sheikh Zayed. Between February and March, the Entente extended their water pipeline and railway towards Rafah. Murray delegated Gaza's battle plan to Dobell, outlining 3 objectives: to secure a line along the Wadi Ghuzi to protect the railway expansion, to prevent Ottoman withdrawal, and to capture Gaza and its garrison. Dobell prepared to strike Gaza and Alimentar Hill, with a surrounding cordon isolating Gaza from Harera, Beersheba and Huj. On March 25th, the EEF moved into assembly positions, tightening the encirclement by the 26th. By 10:30, Gaza was surrounded, but dense fog postponed the assault to noon. Artillery barrages opened as infantry faced sustained rifle and machine gun fire. While Ottoman forces concentrated on the infantry from the south, the Anzac and Imperial Mounted Divisions pressed Gaza from the north and east. Several positions fell as mounted screens repelled counterattacks. By 1800, the Anzac Mounted Division had pushed into Gaza's streets, with Alimentar, Clay Hill and Green Hill captured. Yet Ottoman reinforcements reached from the east to relieve the city. By dusk, the strongest Ottoman trenches and redoubts still held. With ammunition and water dwindling and fearing a second day of fighting, at 1810, Dobell ordered a withdrawal towards the Wadi Ghuzi. The retreat surprised both sides. Ottoman counterattacks allowed them to regain lost ground. The EEF suffered 523 deaths, 2,932 wounded, 519 missing, and 241 prisoners, while the Ottomans had 300 deaths, 750 wounded, and 600 missing. Murray reported to London that the Ottomans had suffered 7,000 casualties. Based on this, the British War Cabinet ordered the EEF on April 2nd to destroy the Ottoman Fourth Army south of Jerusalem and seize the Holy City. In the interim, the EEF extended the railway to Deir el-Balah, the new Eastern Force headquarters, and established supply dumps at Wadi Ghuzi. The forces were reorganized as reconnaissance and air raids intensified on both sides. The Ottomans fortified Gaza as the strongest point in a line extending to Harera and Beersheba, manned by over 21,000 men. Dobell planned a 3 infantry, 2 mounted division assault, supported by 170 guns, 8 heavy Mark I tanks, 25 aircraft, and warships. By 1917, Western Front experience had shown trench warfare favoured the defender. To counter this, Murray stockpiled 4,000 gas-tipped artillery shells for the initial bombardment. Gas had not yet been used in the campaign, but the British issued gas masks, while the Ottomans had none. With water scarce toward Beersheba, Doble pursued a direct front assault against the well-prepared defences, the Desert Column advancing on the right flank to pursue. The plan unfolded in 2 phases. First, infantry would take Sheikh Abbas and advance to form a line from Tel El Adjoul to Essir Ridge and Sheikh Abbas, bridging Rafah, Gaza and the coast. Second, the main assault would strike Gaza from the south, southeast and southwest, while the Desert Column held the right flank. At 5:30 on the 17th, heavy bombardment began, with gas shells largely ineffective. Tanks, infantry and cavalry captured Sheikh Abbas by 700, El Burjbi and Mansoura Ridge, and established a fortified line from Sheikh Ajlin to Sheikh Abbas, extending from the sea to Wadi Ghuzi, as the Desert Column pressed Harera. The 18th saw consolidation as artillery duelled. On the 19th, Doble ordered an all-out attack across Gaza's 12 miles of trenches. In the west, the 53rd Welsh Division seized Samson Ridge and Sheikh Ajlin. To the east, the 52nd Lowland Division captured Esseri Ridge and Lees Hill, while the 54th Anglian Division captured several redoubts but suffered heavy casualties, and 3 tanks were captured by the Ottomans. Mounted units pressed the Atawina Hareria defences, including a brutal clash over Sausage Ridge. By nightfall on the 19th, Entente losses stood at 509 deaths, 4,359 wounded, 1,534 missing, and 272 taken prisoner. The Ottomans had 402 deaths, 1,364 wounded, and 200 taken prisoner. The Ottoman hold on Syria and Palestine remained intact, and the EEF failed to link with the Arab Revolt. For their failures, Murray and Doble were relieved, and a stalemate persisted between Gaza and Beersheba. As the EEF ground to a halt on the Palestine frontier, the Mesopotamian Expeditionary Force, under Lieutenant General Sir Stanley Maude, opened an offensive against Baghdad in December 1916. The Ottoman Sixth Army, commanded by General Halil Pasha, had established extensive trenches and fortified positions along the advance toward Baghdad, with the main defensive lines centered on Sanayat along the eastern bank of the Tigris, manned by elements of the 45th and 52nd Ottoman divisions. The MEF advanced on both sides of the Tigris. By January 1917, on the western bank, the 14th Division attacked Kadairi Bend, a sharp loop about 2 miles north of Kut, where the 52nd Ottoman Division lay behind wire and machine gun defences. After preliminary bombardments began on January 13th, the main assault intensified on January 25th, with the 9th Worcestershire and 7th North Staffordshire Regiments leading infantry advances under covering fire. Close quarters fighting followed, bayonet charges to clear trenches, while Ottoman counterattacks briefly recaptured portions of the line. British reserves eventually stabilised the position and captured Kadairi Bend on January 29th, severing a key Ottoman supply route. Simultaneously, on the eastern bank, the 13th British Division conducted flanking manoeuvres against strongpoints, such as the Na al-Khalek Canal, avoiding the heavily fortified Sanayat line. HMS Mantis and Tarantula bombarded Sanayat to suppress artillery and machine gun nests, and to support infantry on the flanks against reinforcement. Ottoman resistance remained stubborn at Sanayat, with the 51st Division mounting counter-offensives on January 19th and 26th that were repulsed by coordinated artillery and cavalry screens, aiding the East Bank encirclement of Kut. The final phase against Kut targeted Shumran Bend to outflank the defences from the north. Probing actions at Sanayat on February 17th briefly captured the first 2 trench lines, but ground was largely retaken by dusk. The decisive move began February 23rd with an amphibious assault on the eastern bank at Shumran Bend. The 1st Battalion Norfolk crossed by boat, securing the riverbank, and several machine guns with about 300 prisoners, followed by the 2nd Battalion 9th Gurkha Rifles, as engineers completed a pontoon bridge by 1630, allowing reinforcements to reach deeper and seize more prisoners. Facing a northern flank collapse, Colonel Kazem Karabekir Bey ordered a retreat to avoid encirclement. By February 24th, Kut was entered with limited resistance. 1,650 prisoners taken as rearguards were pursued down the Baghdad road. Meanwhile, the western bank continued clearing the Shatt al-Hai, as the campaign had spent 2 months denying Kut's garrison any route of retreat or reinforcement, and by early February, the right bank west of Kut was secured, setting the stage for the pursuit towards Baghdad. The MEF had suffered over 10,000 casualties, while the Ottomans sustained about 7,000 casualties, with 7,500 taken prisoner. 4 Ottoman divisions on the Tigris front had been reduced to under 5,000 men, while the MEF remained at near full strength. After recapturing Kut, the MEF paused at Azizia on February 27th to consolidate supply depots and river logistics. They resumed March 5th, reaching the Diyala River by the 8th, where 20,000 entrenched Ottomans blocked the passage. Maud's engineers quietly constructed a pontoon bridge across the Tigris, below the Diyala confluence, enabling the bulk of his cavalry and infantry to cross to the west and outflank the Ottomans. The East Lancashire and Wiltshire regiments bridged the Diyala at the northern ford, quickly overwhelming a single Ottoman regiment guarding the river. That night, Halil Pasha ordered the evacuation of Baghdad at 2000 to preserve his army north toward Mosul. On March 11th, advancing MEF elements stormed Baghdad unopposed. In the chaotic withdrawal, about 10,000 Ottomans escaped, while more than 9,000 were captured. The MEF suffered over 15,000 casualties. After securing the city, Maud proclaimed to Baghdad's inhabitants, "Our armies do not come into your cities and lands as conquerors or enemies, but as liberators." The loss of Baghdad, the ancient Abbasid capital and a linchpin of Ottoman war aims in the Persian Gulf, represented a staggering strategic blow. With the loss of Baghdad, coupled with their losses to the Russians in eastern Anatolia, including the garrison town of Erzurum and the Black Sea port of Trabzon, the fall of Mecca and Jeddah to the Hashemites in 1916, and their recent setbacks in the Sinai, the Ottomans were once again being pressed back on all their frontiers. To make matters worse still, on April 6, 1917, the United States declared war on Germany. Although far from a military power in 1917, America's regular army numbered approximately 128,000 men. Its formidable industrial base and large population promised to revive the Entente's fortunes on the Western Front, encouraging British planners to pursue fresh actions in the Middle East. In the next episode, we will discuss the fall of Jerusalem, so make sure you are subscribed and have pressed the bell button to see it. Please consider liking, subscribing, commenting and sharing. It helps immensely. Our patrons and YouTube members can watch more than 200 exclusive videos. Join their ranks via the link in the description or by pressing the join button under the video to watch these weekly videos, learn about our schedule, get early access to our videos, access our private Discord, and much more. This is the Kings and Generals channel, and we will catch you on the next one.